Hi loves, thanks for tuning in today. This is my summer foundation routine. First, I start off by color correcting and concealing my dark circles, and I have a little bit of darkness around my mouth and some post-acne scarring. So what I use is the combination of the NYX Dark Circle Concealer and MAC's Peach Lustre. I combine the two because the Peach Lustre is too deep for my skin tone, so it does tend to show through, especially with a light foundation routine as I'm doing today. And the NYX didn't seem to do enough for me, plus it was a little drying on its own. So I do mix the two products together. I just take a little bit of the Peach Lustre in the back of my hand, build up some product on my brush, and then mix them together. And you'll see me put it around my mouth, my acne scar, um, and then right under my eyes. Now, when you are color correcting, I don't do a huge amount of color correcting, but I do some. But when you do it, you want to only apply the product where you have the darkness. You don't want to apply it all over the under eye area because it's not really correcting anything there, and plus you may risk it showing through your foundation in pictures. And with this, I am using a very light amount of foundation. Well, I'm not even using foundation. I'm using a tinted moisturizer. So I definitely didn't want to do anything that was too heavy. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking my beauty blender and blending everything in. It is damp. I just pounce it. You're going to bounce it around the areas. You don't want to really smudge it because it's not going to get the product where you want to. It's just going to move it around your face. So you do see me using the bouncing, stippling motions. And I kind of press it in under my eye just to smooth out any lines or creases. There are other alternatives for color correcting. I just use those two products, but I also do have a Graftobian palette that I got off of Amazon for I think like $20, and it comes with like a green, a pink, a salmon color, and a yellow, and it has a description for what everything is on the back. Another one that I do have is the NYX color correcting, and I believe it's in medium. That's the Conceal and Correct in contour palette. Yes, it is in medium. So there's some other alternatives that you can use. Now for foundation for the summer, I am using the L'Oreal Illuminating Moisturizer, I believe it's called. I used to use one of their BB creams last summer, but they stopped making it, so I was really excited about this one. It is one color fits all, I believe. It comes out white, but once you start smoothing it in, you'll see the color adjust to your skin. I'd put it on my hands first, and you'll see me go back in with the beauty blender just to make sure everything is smooth and correct. So that's what I'm doing right here, just making sure everything is blended into my skin. Now for my concealer, I do use the Pro Conceal by LA Girls and a little bit of the MAC Bright Forecast highlighter pen. I'll put the Pro Conceal on first in a small triangle. This is definitely not a highlight and contour routine. I will be putting that up soon. But this is just to conceal even more the dark circles on top of the color correcting that we did. So I'll put some right under the eye and then drag it down the nose just a tad bit, the sides of the nose in a triangle. You want to try to reflect the light away. And you will see me put some on the bridge of my nose, my chin, and in between my eyebrows. I have a bigger forehead, so I don't tend to do my highlight any further than that. If your forehead is a little smaller, you can definitely use the concealer and highlighter to make it appear a little bigger. Now I'm just adding the Bright Forecast to the tops of my cheeks, and you will see me blend all this in with a stipple brush. And when I do start blending, I tend to start where the highlight is so it doesn't go too far up into the actual concealer color. Now I'm just misting my stipple brush so everything blends out a lot easier. And right here I'm just blending using stippling motions. It may look like I'm actually dragging it, but I'm actually not. I'm just using really fast stippling motions to press the product into my skin. That's how you're going to achieve the most coverage. You don't want to really drag it around because it's just spraying the product all over. It's not really getting into your skin. And I go back in with my beauty blender. I just want to make sure everything is blended seamlessly. I just sped it up because you guys already saw one side of my face. I will be doing an in-depth highlight and contour routine so you guys will be able to see this again. Now I take the NYX Powder Pro Highlight and Contour Kit. I take it's a yellow powder and a pinkish powder, and I just use that to set under my eyes. And then I will also use that to set the areas where I highlighted and concealed. And what this does is just going to lighten up those areas of your face. You want the center part of your face to be the brightest and the darkness and the shadows to be on the outside. So now it is time to bronze up my skin. My skin is a lighter color than my body, and I don't tan or self-tan, so I either have to use bronzers or concealers to match my face and my body. But since I'm not using really a foundation, I use the bronzer. And this is MAC. Not sure the color. I have to put it in the description bar for you. And I just use that on a big stippling brush just to brush a light coat of the bronzer on my cheekbones, around my forehead, where you can actually see natural shadows now. I just use that to intensify that. And a good trick, if you do have a bigger forehead like me, you can contour and bronze around your forehead and it'll make it appear smaller. I'm going to go in with that NYX palette one more time just to intensify the bronzer just a bit. I'm not really contouring because I'm not concentrating it in one area. I'm just blowing it out all around the cheek area. More so just to bring color back into my skin so it matches my body, so I'm not two different tones. And I do drag that onto my neck so it doesn't look like I'm wearing a mask. I don't know what I'm listening to. We're going to go in now with some blush. I do use a combination of blushes just to get a nice flushed skin look. The first one is the Milani Luminoso. It's a peachy, not shimmery, but it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. It's great just for that summer glow. It intensifies the actual glow within, without actually having to put on too much highlighter. And then I'll take the Wet n Wild blush. I think it's Heather something. I'll have to put everything down in the description bar, but I just use that lightly because it is kind of pink for my skin tone. Now I take my Airspun powder. Now this is something that I recently discovered and I'm totally in love with. You can find it in Walmart, other drugstores, and it's just a translucent powder that helps set your foundation and keep everything in place. I just take a little bit out in the in the top and set it. I just use that same stippling brush just to set. You're just seeing me setting it all over, and I like to press the powder into my skin, not wipe it over, because if you're wiping and brushing it over, sweeping it over your face, you can mess up what you've already done. So by just pressing it into the skin, it just places what's already there. There. Now I'm going to go in with my illuminators, highlighters, whatever you want to call them, not to get confused with the highlight and contour. This is Global Glow from MAC. It's a gold tone, real pretty color for any skin tone. And let's take another duo fiber brush and sweep it on the tops of my cheeks. I go around my eyebrows in like a C motion, on the bridge of my nose, on the tip of my nose, and a little bit on my chin. I have oily skin, so I don't like to put it on my forehead. As you can see, I'm already glowing right there, but you can definitely place it on your forehead as well. Now I'm going in with my e.l.f. warm bronzer, just to intensify that a little bit more. This is pretty on its own if you just want like a natural sun-touched glow, but I like to layer them just to give a more intense look. And I'm just going through and perfecting everything. Excuse me, I can't talk today. Just take that duo fiber brush and just smooth everything in, blend everything together. Make sure there's no creasing, no lines, no streaks. I do take my L'Oreal Infallible makeup setting spray just to keep everything in place. It is the summertime, so this is a good look if you're going to be outside. The makeup setting spray will help keep everything in place, and then I follow up with the other facial spray that I use. It does dry, it doesn't stay like that. And that is the completed look. I do thank you guys for watching today, and don't forget to subscribe.